So like people do.
I think this was your motion for a forensically sound copy. You wanted to be heard on that?
The sighing.
Yes, Your Honor.
You did not file anything new, right?
No, just the motion
Okay.
for reconsideration.
When was that filed? That was filed a long time ago, right?
Yes.
Okay.
It was prior to the motion.
Back to the Sally Port. The judge had denied this motion, and the defense is saying we have since this motion was denied, we've heard more information about the metadata. We've heard more information about how long things were saved or not saved, when they were overwritten. There is a lot more information. And she said, we cannot do our job if we do not have a copy that has all that information. And the court said, this is what they're required to turn over. They turned it over. So we are taking another crack at it where they're asking for the reconsideration. I imagine they will bring up the new information they learned since that was done.
So let's talk about what metadata is. Metadata is data about data. So, for example, let us say that you've got a file on your computer, right?
Video surveillance footage from January 29th.
Show me the metadata.
2022. The court sat through trial. You watched the testimony regarding the inverted video. The court initially denied the request for a forensically sound copy.
But there's also information on there that is things like, when was this file created? What time and day was this file created? What time and day was this file last edited, last modified? These kinds of things can be tremendously important in a case.
The procedure proposed by the Commonwealth and objected to by the defense would result in the destruction of metadata. We have since provided the court with an affidavit from our expert establishing that if the Commonwealth engaged in the protocol that they proposed, namely simply dragging and dropping files from the Canton Police Department computer onto a USB drive, then all of the associated metadata would either be destroyed or otherwise unverifiable. And of course, right after we filed that affidavit, the very next morning,
the next day,
went ahead and dragged and dropped the files from the Canton Police Department computer over to a USB drive.
Why am I not surprised that the day after Judge Cannoni said denied, they went ahead and did what they were going to do to destroy the metadata? That evidence better come in at trial. That better come in at trial. If they can't get the metadata, the defense better be able to elicit, we told them that this would destroy the metadata. They did it anyway, and lo and behold, we have no metadata.
That damage has been done. It can't be rectified, but there may still be some metadata and available evidence on the Canton Police Department computer that our expert can glean if that data is properly imaged.
I mean, if it's still on the drive, you should be able to get it though, right? Like if it's still on the drive, I can't imagine they would drag and drop it then delete it. It should still be there.
Why would they want to do that? Why would they want to do that? Surely they would want intact metadata produced to the defense so that the defense has no excuse, no ability to argue that this hasn't been modified.
The import of this video surveillance cannot be overstated. This is a seminal issue at trial.
Yeah.
But metadata is also fragile. Metadata, you can imagine it kind of like a soap bubble. If you touch it, it breaks. Because once it tracks modification, if you modify that data by, say, moving it over, then you've now modified the metadata. So this is the issue. And in a case where everything hinges on was stuff tampered with, was stuff messed with, it is really important. And there will be arguments on whether or not this metadata was properly preserved.
That damage has been done. It can't be rectified. But there may still be some metadata and available evidence on the Canton Police Department computer I would also note that after the hearing on this specific issue, the Commonwealth produced a new report. That report was dated February 27th, 2025. And in that report, Canton Police Department Sergeant DGM Pietro claims for the very first time that he was responsible for downloading all of the Canton Police Department
Yup.
surveillance video.
That was some new
in
fucking
this case
information.
onto the detective drive at issue.
Wild.
So that's everything from January 29th. That's incredibly important. We don't have all of that information, and we're asking the court to order that be properly imaged for our review.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Brennan.
Okay, you're all set. Oh, let him get up and make some wild accusations against the defense team. Wait for it, everyone. Wait for it. Dirty. He's dirty.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Brennan.
It seems the defense characterization that's forensically sound is fluid. It's difficult to follow. What is clear is that we invited them to
Every time Brennan gets up to talk, the first thing he does is throw shit at the defense. Like, come on, dude.
It's difficult to follow that they want the freaking metadata. It's difficult for you to follow. All right, my head's going to pop off and roll down the street. So where's my head bucket?
Oh, this guy.
It's difficult to follow what they want. He's unreal.
What is clear is that we invited them to come to the Canton Police Department, bring their expert, download anything that was on the DVR, which nothing existed.
And they showed up and there was nothing on the DVR because everything had been put onto another computer. And you know what nobody from the Commonwealth said? You know what nobody from the Commonwealth said? It's on a different computer. No one disclosed that. They said, yeah, you can check the DVR. It's not there.
And then we further invited them to download the detective file. They had over a month to do that. They declined. That invitation has been ongoing. It's been constant, and it is current. If they would like to go
Why
to
are
the
you
Canton
fighting it?
Police Department with their expert and download any of the detective file and see what exists, they're welcome to do that. So if they want a court order allowing them to come, which they don't need because we've invited them.
But you couldn't
Why is this
give
happening now?
the original file, you big old. It's constantly with this effing lying and blaming the defense. I hate this guy.
But he just said it's not there on the system, right? They didn't have anything. They spent $12,000. They tried to get their costs back and you wouldn't give them their costs.
This is not a game of hide and go seek. You're the Commonwealth. It's your job to turn things over. The narrow parsing of they checked the DVR and it wasn't there. And then your expert or your detective or whoever says, oh, well, it's on the detective computer. Stop it, Brennan. They came to check the DVR and it wasn't there. Right. It had been moved. Stop.
We'll agree to the court order. They're welcome to come anytime.
So is the Commonwealth now agreeing that we can forensically image the Canton Police Department detective file?
Yeah, it sounds like it.
Because we've been in a request. in the
Okay,
past.
so I really don't want you talking to each other. I want you talking to me. All right, so you asked the question.
It's some new information, Your Honor. He said, you're welcome anytime. And she goes, oh, good. Can we get the file then? Can we come image the file then? Because that's what we've been asking for. And we're literally on the precipice of trial. You want to know why everybody said, let's do openings on Tuesday? Shit like this.
Except that they said that they were welcome to come, but not to forensically image. So this is a whole thing.
This guy. Oh yeah, and you can come mirror image the detective file anytime. Oh, except that you can't because there's stuff on there that doesn't have to do with your case.
I really don't want you talking to each other and I want you talking to me. How about this? You don't know how to rule from the bench.
Ms. George has the most wonderful expressions. Ms. George's expressions are like, I'm just going to say, based on her expressions here, I feel like it's a good thing they have metal detectors at this courthouse because like that whole face right there, she's just like,
Well, what if they do it anyway and then we go ahead and have a taint team? Why don't we just have a taint team? Go ahead and go through there and identify what they get to look at and what they don't. But that way they still get their mirror image, which is what they need. That's what you need for forensically sound, valid, metadata carrying over, etc.
And he does this constant. If you haven't seen the hearings, this is 24/7, 9/25, constantly just doing
Baker,
this.
to quote you, I'm going in raw.
If the metadata will substantiate your position that this was just downloaded directly from the DVR and it's sat there untouched and it's been like that the entire time, surely you'd want to produce that to the defense.
Yeah, let them have a taint team. And remember when Brennan said, I didn't trust the taint team, so I took over, because that's absolutely how you do it.
But this is precisely what like taint teams are about. You could say, like, listen, we're going to release the full thing to a group of people who will then identify specific the specific files that can be released with certification that they are forensically sound. We're going to pare this down. But before that, he was saying that they wouldn't let them forensically, get a forensic copy of anything. So, yeah.
Boy, it just continues to be the cover-up in this case, doesn't it? Continues to be the cover-up.